Dear students, today's session we will continue with the arrays and we will see some programs related to the arrays concepts. So already we have discussed about the basics of arrays, like the difference between a normal variable and an array, what are the advantages of an array, what are the drawbacks of an array, what are the different ways of declaring arrays, initializing arrays, and other related things. Now today we will see some problems related to the usage of arrays, and actually these traditional programs will help us to think about other logics also in relation with the usage of arrays. So there are some common situation where we always require the concept of arrays, even not only with C language, maybe with other languages also. So we'll see some programs related to these arrays. Now first program we are going to discuss is just reading and display an array of size n. Just read and display an array of size n. Now what is the logic behind reading and displaying? There is no logic available, but at least we could know how we can read, because as we know, arrays are actually having more number of elements, more memory locations are allocated. So how we can enter all these values at the same time, and similarly how we can display those elements separately as an array. So let us see the basic syntax of using these arrays. So let us start the program. Just look at the program where we will start the program with a header file, that is usual, that you will be knowing, a header file stdio.h. Then we are having the main opening bracket. Now look at this statement. Here there is a variable n. So n is actually used for specifying the size. What is the total number of elements required for reading and printing? So I will simply consider the size n is equal to 3. For example, I will consider it as 3. Now what is the requirement of this n? You will see that later, we will understand that later. So n actually reads a number, how many elements are required in our array. Then you can see an array a of 20 of integer type, a of 20. So 20 is the maximum size and a is the name of array. Now we can combine this 20 and n. Is there any relationship between this 20 and n? 20 is the maximum allocated memory. Maximum allocated memory, that is up to from 0 to 19th location we can have some elements. But that is only during declaration we are simply reserving some memory location. But actually in my program I require only reading 3 elements and displaying 3 elements, or in some other situation it can be some 10 elements, read it and display those 10 elements. So maximum size we are setting here, but we are asking for another number, how many elements we are actually requiring. So that is why we are using this n. We don't need to go for all these 20 numbers, that is not required. Normally we are not doing like that. We are simply setting this as the maximum size, and we are dealing with another variable n where we can restrict according to our requirement. Then printf enter the size of array, that is for getting n, that is our requirement. That is not for the entire size, don't misunderstand, this is not for the entire size, this is for reading the size of my array, how many elements I require. Then scanf %d ampersand, that is normal reading, scanf %d ampersand, just like a normal variable, there we can have an integer value. So n will be having some value, that is like 3. In this example I am giving the value as 3. Now our array size is actually given as 3. So automatically we can assume 3 means 0, 1 and 2. This will be the index allocation, and here we can hold the values. Okay, the name of the array is A. A holds the address of the or the base address of the array. Now next, for loop. This for loop is actually used for reading array elements one by one. So we are using a for loop. Just listen to this loop. This is very important because it is used with all array programs. For I equal to 0, so here you can see one I variable being declared, that is for iteration. For I is equal to 0. Why we are starting the iteration with 0? Because we know that the array index starts with 0. So automatically, first of all, I need to process the 0th location of an array. So that is why we are starting the iteration with 0. Then I less than n. What is this n? N is 3 now. I less than n means the size, that is less than n, less than 3. Less than 3 means we can have up to 2 only. So you might be you will be understanding now why it is less than n, because starting from index location 0, we need to traverse up to the second location, not up to the third location. 3 is the total size of the array, but through iteration we need to pass from 0, 1 to 2. So we need to exit from the loop when it passes 2. That means when it becomes 3. So always we are checking the condition like the ended or the array index less than n. So I equal to 0, always it is less than n, it is less than 3, it is correct, right? It will enter into the loop. It is asking for enter the number. So I want to enter the number, I want to read the number from the user. So it will be asking enter the number. I will be giving a value. For example, I will be entering the value 5. Okay, so this is only a text, but how we are reading? So for reading, so actually for entering this value 5, we need to have this scanf operation. Just like a normal variable, if you are having a normal variable, you will write it as scanf %d ampersand x or ampersand y or ampersand a, etc., etc. But now we want to read the values for the first memory location. Okay, so what is the name of this location? It is a of 0, right? So index start with 0. 0th location, that is the value a of I. And while doing scanf, we need to specify the ampersand. So this ampersand indicates the address of the 0th memory location. That is for the first iteration, right? So we are entering the value 5. This 5 will be taken for the 0th location. Now I will be incremented by 1. I will become 1. Now again it will check I less than n, 1 less than 3, right? That is true. It will enter into the loop, enter the number. So that is for entering the next number. Scanf %d ampersand, now a of 1. Now I will be reading the next value. For example, I am reading 6. 6 is allocated to a of 1, that is here. 6 will be allocated. Now again I will be incremented by 1, that is 2. 2 less than 3, that is again true. It will enter into the loop, enter the number, scanf %d ampersand a of 2. Scanf %d ampersand a of 2. So a of 2 means here the address of this one. There I can read the value. Like for example, I am reading 7. It will be assigned to the address of a of 2. The 7 will be allocated here. Now again I will be incremented by 1. That means I equal to 3. 3 less than n. N is 3. 3 less than 3 is wrong, right? So automatically it will exit from the loop and will go to the next statement, right? It will exit from the loop. So this is the logic used for reading array elements. For all the programs we are following the same for loop for reading the values into a particular array. Now you just listen, this printf enter the number can be avoided. For I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, we can simply write scanf %d ampersand ai. That means it is not that much user friendly. That means there won't be any question like enter the number. The cursor will be available. You can enter 5, 6. First iteration you can enter directly 5. Second iteration 6, and third iteration 7. The value will be entered into the corresponding array. Okay. Now reading is over. Now just look at the next for loop. Then after coming out of that particular loop, we are having another loop for printing the. So here what is happening, into the real array locations these values are being placed. Now if you want to display the result of that, we need to have a separate print. So every element to be printed separately. So again I am using the same type of for loop for I equal to 0, starting from 0th index location to I less than n, I less than 3, that is up to 2. What it will do? It will print %d, then /t, that indicates. So first of all it will print 5, then there will be a space. Okay, so this value will be printed here. Then /t means a tab will be added here. Then next iteration I1, the value 6 will be printed here. Again next iteration the value 7 will be printed. Next iteration the loop will be exiting and the program will be ending. Now this will be the result that we are viewing when we are executing this program. This is for reading and this is for printing the array. So these two are very important, because most of the programs, if you have some larger program, there also we require to have reading. Always we need to have reading from or reading array elements by using scanf. It is just like single variable, but only thing is we require multiple number of values, so we are putting that into a loop, and also we are changing that single variable into an array variable with index location. So that will be varying according to the for loop. So this is the logic used for reading and printing an array. Okay, now let us see another example. We will see one more example, that is another program that reads and display an array of size n in reverse order. See, the same program we will read and print in reverse order. Okay, so you will be having an array similar to the previous situation. Assume that we are having 3 elements, 0, 1, 2, the locations. A is the array, points to the base address. Then assume that we are having the same values 5, 6, 7. So how all these will happen? Just look at this header file, main. Look at these declarations. N for size, a of 20, the array declaration. I is the for variable or iterative variable. Now enter the size of array, read the value of n. Then for example we are reading n is equal to 3, right? Then this is the same for loop that we were using in the previous example. For I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, enter the number, ampersand a of I. So a of 0, this reading, then a of 1, this reading, then a of 2, this reading. When it reaches 3 less than 3, it will exit from the loop. It will exit from the loop. It will go to the next statement. Now look at this for loop. Look at this for loop. This is the loop where we want to reverse the elements. Now just look at this array. Reverse means I need to display the values like 7, 6 and 5. Okay, so just look how it is possible. So initially for printing from 0 to 2 we are printing 5, 6, 7. Now the logic is very simple. Just start from this, continue up to 0. Start from 2, continue up to 0, print. Then 7, 6, 5 will be printed. That is the only logic. Just like 0 to 2 what we are printing, normal printing in the previous case. Now we want to print from 2 to 0 in the reverse order. So we need to start from the end. Okay, so just look at the loop. For I equal to n minus 1. What is n? N is 3. 3 minus 1, that is 2. So we are starting the array index from 2. Hope it is clear. Then I greater than equal to 0. As it is in the reverse order, we need to check greater than condition. I 2 is greater than or equal to 0. Check whether it is greater or equal to 0. So 2 is greater than 0. It is true. It will enter into the loop. Printf percentage %d a of I. It will print this 7. A of I means what is I? N minus 1. 3 minus 1. That is 2. A of 2 will be, A of 2 is 7, that will be printed. Then a /t, a tab will be added. Okay, next iteration again I equal to I minus minus. Just look here. Now here, if it as it is in decreasing order, I minus minus. So what will happen? I was n minus 1, that is 2. 2 minus 1, that is 1. So next iteration I will become 1. I will become 1. I greater than equal to 0. Yes, 1 is greater than equal to 0. It is true. It will enter into the loop. It will print a of I. What is the value of I now? 1. It will print a of 1. A of 1 is 6 to be printed here. Now similarly, next iteration again I will be decremented by 1. Now what will be the value of I? Again minus 1. It will become 0. Now I is equal to 0. I greater than equal to 0. That is also true. It is true. I minus minus. Wait here. According to this condition, it will enter into the loop. Now printf %d a of 0. A of 0. What is this a of 0? That is 5 will be printed. Again I will be decremented again once. Then I equal to n minus 1. N minus 1. What is n? 0. 0 minus 1 minus 1. Minus 1 greater than equal to 0. That is wrong. It will exit from the loop, and this is the final result. We can see the printing of 7, 6 and 5. That is the array 5, 6, 7. A array 5, 6, 7 is printed in reverse order 7, 6 and 5. Hope it is clear. Okay. Let us see one more program. Next program is to find the sum of array elements and to find the average. To find the sum and to find the average of elements in array. Again, think about the logic. We need to read array. We should have some array elements. Then we need to find the sum. Means from the array index 0 value must be added with the value of location 1. Then that must be added with the value of location 2. Then similarly up to n minus 1 we need to add all the number. Okay, then we can directly display the value of sum. And similarly for finding the average, it is very simple. If you are getting the sum value, just divide that sum by the number of elements present in the array. Okay, let's see. It will be easier if you have already understood the previous concept. It will be an easier. Only thing is you need to find out the sum of all the elements present in the array. Let's see. N for size, a of 20, the similar array. I is for reading. Then sum, we are declaring one more variable as an integer variable for finding the sum of all the elements. So we should have the values stored in a single way. That means the sum must be stored in the variable sum. Then we are declaring one more variable, that is average, avg, that is of type float, because if you divide one integer by another integer, automatically you will be having a floating point value. That is why the average is declared as float. Okay, now enter the size of array exactly as in the previous one. Scan of n, so n is equal to 3 for example, as in the previous example. Then for I equal to 0 to n minus 1, that is I equal to 0, I less than n. If it is 3 up to 2, 0, 1, 2, we need to read the elements. So this is the same loop, 0, 1, 2. This is the array, points to the base address here we are having 5 or any other values we can add. So assume that we are adding these values. Enter the number, first number a of 0 5 will be added, a of 1 6 will be added, a of 2 7 will be added, a of 3 when it reaches 3 less than 3 it will exit from the loop. Now then I am setting sum. This variable is assigned as 0. Why it is assigned as 0 means in the C language any local variable when it is declared will be assigning its initial value as a garbage value. What is this garbage value? It is a value that is unknown to the user. It is a system defined some default value present in the memory location. So sum, we are declaring a variable by default when it is inside a function. So it is inside main function. In C it is assigning a garbage value, but many languages like Java and all, they are assigning 0. Automatically it is assigning 0 as the initial value, but in C sum will be having, or any variable like here n is also having the initial value as garbage value, I also we are having the initial value as garbage value. But for all these variables for I we are having initialization 0. N, what is happening, we are reading whatever be the value n, we are reading a new value, so that value will be assigned to the variable n. Okay, that won't have any effect to the program. But why this sum is given here and we are having an initial value separately given here means this sum, one sum, so 5 plus 6 we are getting a sum. Okay, so initially we should have some value. What will happen if I am trying to accumulate this summation? If it is not being added with 0 plus 5, so first of all we should have this procedure 0 plus 5, then whatever value we are getting, that is 5 must be added with 6, then whatever value we are getting, that is 11, must be added with 7. So this is the procedure that we are going to follow. So initially it must be added with 0. If it is not, if the sum is not 0, if you are not giving this initial value, what will happen is here we will be having some garbage value, some unknown value will be added with this 5. Clear? So we don't know what value that is, so it may lead to a wrong result for this program. So that is why we are having this initialization. So here actually we are doing accumulation of this value. Some first location sum will be updated, then with second location sum will be updated, then with third location sum will be updated. So initial value of sum is, if it is not 0, some wrong result will be obtained. So here look at the logic here where we are finding the sum. For I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, same loop from 0 to 2 we are following the loop. Sum is equal to, so the initial value of sum is 0. Now sum is equal to sum plus, that means 0 plus a of 0, that is 5. So first iteration I equal to 0, this will happen. 0 will be added with 5 and that 5 is stored into this sum variable. Okay, now I will be incremented by 1, I equal to 1, then according to condition, now sum is equal to, now next statement sum is equal to, what will happen, sum, that is 5, already we have got 5, plus a of 1, that is 6, that will be added and accumulated into the variable sum. Now the value of sum is 11. Next iteration I equal to 2, again the same thing, sum is equal to sum plus, now what is the sum, 11 plus a of 2, that is 7, that is the value will be 18. Now the sum will be having the value 18. Okay, now again I plus plus, 3 less than 3, it will exit from the loop. Okay, now what is the last value of sum? That will decide the total sum of all the elements present in the array. Now again listen, why we are initializing this variable into 0, because we are accumulating. First time we are adding the value into some other value. First time if you are directly assigned some other value, that won't be an issue, but here we need to add with some other value. Initially, if you are not assigning 0, it will be adding a garbage value with our array element will lead to the wrong result. Okay. Now, after finding the sum, after exiting from that loop, what we need to do? Now look at the remaining portion of the program. So this portion is over. Now sum is already there with this sum variable. Okay. Now if you are trying to print sum, it will print that value 17, right? 11 plus 7, that is 18. Okay. Now AVG, our new variable AVG is equal to float of sum divided by n. So normally this is required. Sum divided by n. N was the size of element, that was 3. Sum was 18. 18 divided by 3. Okay. Now usually we cannot always say that this integer sum is an integer, n is also an integer. Integer divided by integer won't be always an integer value. So we are explicitly doing a type casting by adding the size or the type of the result. So average is float. This sum divided by n will produce an integer. So we cannot allow that. So we are converting explicitly, forcefully into the floating point type. So this is already discussed before. This is called as explicit type casting. Whatever value we are getting here will be casted into floating point, because left hand side we are having a floating point variable. Then as usual we are trying to print sum, then average with the values of both sum and average variable. Okay, so here we are doing three things. First thing, we are reading the array elements. Second thing, we are finding the sum of all the elements one by one, a of I, 0, a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, or till n minus 1. We are accumulating the sum. Then after that, so we are having two loops, one for reading, one for finding sum. Then after that, directly print the variable values, find the average also, print the values of sum as well as the average. Okay. Now we will see one more program. A simple program related to arrays. That is, it is a program used for reading and display the even numbers present in an array. The even numbers present in an array. Just for checking, just for printing the even numbers present in an array. For example, here it is 5, 6 and 7. You know that only 6 is even. So A is the array, base address, 0 is the index, 1, 2. Now look at the program. Header file, main, n, a of 20, already familiar. Then I, enter the size of array, read the size. Then this is for reading the array. For I equal to 0 to n, less than n, enter the number a of I. So 5, 6 and 7, or any numbers can be taken into the array. Now look at the main loop that is used for checking. So again we are using one more loop. Every element from 0 to 2, we need to check each element is even or not. So first we need to come to the 0th location, then come to first location, then come to second location. Check each of these number whether it is even or not. Okay, so for I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. The same loop we are following. Now inside this we are having a comparison. If a of I, so first case we will take I equal to 0. I equal to 0. If a of I, if a of 0, that is 5, a of 0 is 5, mod 2, that is 5 mod 2 is equal to 0, whether it is correct or not. 5 mod 2 is equal to 0, whether it is correct or not. No, it is not correct, because 5 modulus 2 we are getting a remainder 1. So it is wrong. So what will happen? This condition false. It will come out. It won't be, there won't be any printing. These statements will not be executed. It will come out and will go for next iteration. As we are not written any else statement here, it will come out of this if. Go to the next iteration, I is equal to 1. Right? So if a of I mod 2, next case, a of 1 mod 2. What is a of 1? That is 6. sits mod 2 is equal to 0. Yes, it is correct. Printf %d a of I, that is a of 1. It will print the value 6. Okay. Then it will go to the next iteration. Next iteration, I is equal to 2. If a of 2 is 7, a of 2 is 7, 7 modulus 2 is equal to 0. That is wrong. It will not execute this print. It will come out and will go for next iteration. I is equal to 3. 3 less than 3. N is 3. It is wrong. It will come out of the for loop. Okay. That's it. Now we are having the values already available. Correct? So we can directly go and complete the program. So this for loop will be ended here and main will be ended here. So see, here we are using one for loop for reading, next for loop for iterating among each member. Each member will be checked modulus 2. Accordingly the value will be printed. If modulus 2 is equal to 0, that is an even number, that member will be, that array element will be printed. Now the same program can be used for checking the array elements, print the elements which are odd numbers. What we can do? The opposite of this one. If a of I modulus 2 is equal to 1, we can print. Okay, the same logic can be applied here. There only the odd numbers will be displayed. Okay, now these are the programs. These are some of the basic programs related to the usage of arrays, and these programs will always help you to bring some basic logics, how we can access the elements, how we can read array contents, how we can traverse one by one, how we can do some comparison within each element present in an array, how we can do some summation on all the elements present in an array, how we can have a direct 0 to n-1 loop, how we can have a loop from n-1 to 0, etc., etc. So some basic logics related to the array usage. So I am winding up this session. Next session we will see some more programs related to the arrays. Thank you.